Hi, my twin flames. I was just getting la 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 la. So really the la is what was coming through, and I ended up staring right at this deer I have with crystal eyes, and the crystal eyes are looking up and they're just popping out of their head. And I was getting a message for you before that as well. So take a few deep breaths while I'm talking. And as I was getting the la, I was also getting the la as in do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, which would be E, I believe, right? Because F would be then T. No, G would be T then, because then do is C if you start with C. So we're dealing with F, and that's interesting too, because this is my F bowl. F is also the symbol for digamma, which is that twin flame reference. And when I meditated just before the video for you guys for a message, what I was getting, the first thing I was getting was, you know how a child will grab onto your leg when they don't want you to leave? Well, it was like this child, grabbing on. I couldn't see who they were grabbing onto, but they wouldn't let go. But they had a smile on their face. There's definitely childlike manipulation going on here. And then I see this child becoming a dog. And the dog then was dressed in like a trained engineer's outfit, like with the cap and the traditional outfit from long ago. And what came up with that was I just watched Harriet Tubman. So they used to call them conductors. So the conductor was coming up there. And then I was seeing a long-eared dog sitting in the front seat, or also the taming of dogs and wild cats was coming up in my Instagram earlier. So there's that energy too, because then the dog was finally sitting in the front seat. I don't know if it was a car initially, but then it felt like a car after that. So there's this energy, and then the car is in the train. So it could be the front car of the train, the conductor, the one who leads everybody to, and of course with Harriet Tubman, it was, rescuing people under the radar, right? And there's that same energy with transmuting energies from within. Like, so if you want to transcend a group or change it into something else, you become that group and you infiltrate and you change it from within. So that energy is coming up as well. So however the message comes to you, that's how you should take it. I have 2 of my messages of the day for you guys, as well as the twin flame read on the table here. I'm going to roll the die for you guys. And if anything else comes up from that visual that I was getting, I'll let you know. Today is November 21st, and I did some Instagram posts today, really cool ones if you want to check them out. I really liked them today. It's 3:42 on the clock, which is the 3 of the Empress. 42 is the 2 of Cups. And that reference of the 3 is not just the Empress and Mother Earth and the energy of abundance and the mother figure, but it's also the 3 is the eagle that's soaring horizontally. That keeps coming up over and over again. The 42 is that 2 of Cups, that partnership, seeing each other face to face, eye to eye, one-on-one. I'm also getting the 3-4, right? The back and forth of the 3-4, the Empress and the Emperor, and then the 2 of them. For the twin flames here, I have number 8, which is the Strength card. It's also the dance between the masculine and feminine and the manifestation of dreams, that higher octave, as opposed to the 4 of manifesting survival. And then we have Venus here coming up. So Venus, all about Libra and love and balance in that respect. And then we have Scorpio here as well. And we're now into, I don't know what day we go into Sagittarius, but we're right there on that cusp right now. going into Sagittarius. So we have Leo with the 8 is Leo also with strength, and Scorpio with it, which are both fixed signs. And then actually, with Venus, you have Taurus too. So a lot of fixed energies coming up there, and the need for Libra and Venus as the mediator in the middle here. And also 8 isn't, Scorpio's the 8th house. So there's that huge transformation type of energy going on here. And to stay in the heart space, very important right now, right? Because that can go very deep and very transformational, as it was with Harriet Tubman. Very interesting. So you guys are being called the conductors of this. And it's 3:44 on the clock. I'm getting big chills right now. So I didn't think of that reference before. So that's very interesting. All right. So, and I'm getting bravery as well, right? 8 and strength has to do with bravery and courage to do what you know that you need to do. And that was so important during that movie. She always did what she knew she was supposed to do according to her higher self, her connection with Source, no matter what anyone else told her. Like, you don't know me. Don't tell me what I can and can't do. I'm just getting that. All right, so that's a great movie to watch, too, if you want to get inspired. So like I said, I have 2 of my messages of the day, and then my abbreviated 7-deck read. That's only just the 2 decks today. So let's get right into this first one. So this one, I have the Journey of Love. Metatron is the 2nd deck, and then Nature's Whispers, and then the Shaman deck at the bottom, the Shaman Oracle. Okay, so for those of you not familiar, the left is the underlying energies, or the bottom of the deck. I usually pull 3 cards, and then whatever else wants to come out organically, I use in the mix as well at the end for numerology purposes and to finish off the message. And yeah, let's get into that. So this one was done from 5:20 to 24. The 5 is the Hierophant, which is also Taurus energy. Freedom, change, expansion. I'm getting the freedom train. And again, I'm right at near Lamont in Pennsylvania, which is a lot of where this went on, the freedom train stuff. There's a hub right there. So that's coming up obviously as a theme here. 5:20 is the Hierophant and the 20 of Judgment, that wake-up call. 20 Metatron was 21 to 22, which is the world or the end of the cycle, going into that Fool's journey, that leap of faith. And then 23 and 24 is the King and Queen of Wands with Nature's Whispers in the Shaman deck. The piles at the end of each deck came out to the numbers 1121, but also 3433. And 34 is the 8 of Wands, that energetic exchange. So it's getting this energy of the Rolling Stone, which is the EM3W, right? The same letter, just rolling around. And the 33 is the Christ vibration. The EE is the energetic exchange. The WW is the Wounded Warrior, and the MM is the Mary Magdalene energy. So this energy of justice and alignment of the world, of the Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine in energetic exchange, or the Arrows of Love, across the 4D bridge, the Rolling Stone, or rolling across, I'm getting. Rolling, 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 and I'm getting that too. Oh, crossing the water. So when Harriet Tubman crossed the water, her family didn't want to come across. Some of them couldn't swim and they were afraid. But she went straight ahead and walked halfway through, and she was like up to her head, and then she asked for assistance from Source, and then all of a sudden she started walking up again, and they saw that she was able to cross the river, so then they all followed. So Rolling Stone, the Magician escorting the Wise One, and the Empress escorting friends, and she's coming up as the Empress. Joy, wisdom, and more joy here. As I looked up the numbers that came up here, the first number I looked up was 2134, which is between the 2 numbers, 1121 and then 3433. So 2134 was coming up first because it's being escorted by 11 and 33. which is the alignment of justice, truth, and balance, and the 33 of the Christ vibration. But for me, it's also the 33 of the bridge and the 11 of 660, which is instant manifestation. So 2134, the first entry came up as James William Buffett. And then subjectively, just a stomach thing, guys. Someone who has returned from the dead. And then 1121 came up, which is story about I life. So someone who can't speak English, right, who speaks broken English, story about I life. And then Christmas Eve and Jasmine came up. 3433 came up as all the times you, a, stood over am I, my, or me while I slept. And then the Magician hangs out in transition to come together with the Empress. At 534, which is the Hierophant. I want to say the Magician, the Empress, and the Hierophant, so perhaps all in one. The 34 of that energetic exchange, but also the relationship between the Empress and the Emperor, right? The Hieros Gamos of the gods, right? The 35 of intimacy, the 3 of creation, and 48 of hope and happiness came up, and then 36 of lost in space. And I'm getting danger, Will Robinson. Oh, I forgot too. With my visual, with the freedom train and the child not letting go but using manipulation to get their way, I was also getting, and a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old dog or boy, I can't remember what it is, or this old man came rolling home. So it keeps coming up with, energies of the freedom train. The wounded warrior, the Empress walks away to go within with the Atlas burdens, the weight of the world, the map of intent, to the intimacy of creation, with hope and happiness, and lost in space, because she would stop on the way and just drop into a meditation, which they thought she was, like in a trance state, lost in space, or spaced out. The collective flowering from within and needing direction or a map to get back to the ground again, right, after being lost in space. So, again, intimacy with number 35, which is the wounded warrior, at 538, which is then the Queen of Cups. I was just getting the marriage of the Queen of Cups. And in the movie, she left her husband so that he wouldn't get hurt when she tried to escape. But then by the time she came back for him, he had already moved on because he thought she was dead. So this is intimacy after the 11 of the eruption of light, the 1 of heart fire, and then 35 of intimacy. And if you're Aries, check out my Aries video. It was kind of crazy with the fire burning, my sage, which I can never get to stay lit, the same stick. I've been using it for a long time because it burns right out as soon as I light it. The whole thing went on fire, and it for a full hour, it was burning like full steam ahead. And then we have the North Node in Aries too, so there's that energy. I don't know what sign Harriet Tubman was, but. So heart fire and intimacy in the spaces between is the eruption of light, the Hieros Gamos, the golden white light that erupts through the rose heart to create that spark, that fire, and inspire magic, the magic of the intimate surrender in the vortex of the heart. And by the way, before I forget, in not the last video, but Elena Danon's video, she did talk about the med bed being in the military's hands now, but of course it'll be used first for the children most in need and military as well. The first next card was the 5 of the communal dance, or the Hierophant, or of the Hierophant. And it was coming up as, font is like panting, breathing. The hero panting for a breath of fresh air, as I was doing when I had that sage going, right? I couldn't breathe anymore because the room was so filled with smoke. Dancing around the communal egg. The 31, which is that conflict of fire, the 5 of fire, with the Christed flame and the chaos of life, the surrendering to commit to the group, the whole. In the 40 of the innocence of the void, the silence, the crucifixion and the Page of Cups as the new child, the birthing in the becoming of that back and forth, the arrows of love, the energetic exchange of the EE to the MM of Mary Magdalene, to the 3-3 of Jesus, to the WW of the Wounded Warrior. And I looked up the numbers for each of those. So EE is 5-5, which is 10, and J, right? J is the 10th letter. 26 is Mary Magdalene, the MM, which is Z. 33 is 6, which the 6th letter came up, which is F. Oh, how cool is that, right? So F came up as La. I didn't realize that. So that's coming up again, and that's coming up as the 33 Christ vibration. And then the Wounded Warriors, WW, comes up as 46, which is the 6 of Cups, right? The innocent children. So we have the 10 of Destiny, the wheel, the Page of Wands with the 26, which is also Newton's cradle, which came up on my Instagram today, 6 of the Lovers, and the 46 of the innocent children. The energetic exchange of Mary Magdalene on the bridge with Christ consciousness and the Wounded Warrior and surrender to all that is. Because the whole point of this journey is leaving the Wounded Warrior's path to move on to the Fool's journey with an open heart and a leap in your step, basically. The letters came up as JZF, and then the 46 being the 46 chromosomes, right? There's 23 pairs plus the 24th pair, which are 47 and 48. The X is coming up as pair 24, the X, right? Because XYZ is X. So 24 comes up as the X. And then Nat was coming up as an unforgettable. So a gnat literally landed on my notebook right there. So it's coming up as the unforgettable pair, the X pair, right? The Crazy Eights dance is also the X. The energy of chromosome 46, the innocent children, surrendering to the 47 and 48, which is the heaven in your eyes, the synchronicities, and the 48 of walking away and within, knowing when to walk, knowing when to run. At pair 24, the etheric pair of chromosomes, and the Crazy Eights dance that is unforgettable. Then the letters come up as JZF, and then X as that 24th pair. And JZ is the tomb in Egyptian, to become older, decline, but the workshop, like Santa's workshop, to prepare ointments, or the energy of the now moment. Now is the time. So the tomb, the Egyptian tomb, to become older and decline, is the workshop. So as you get older, you now have, right, when you have more free time, it becomes your workshop to prepare ointments. For now is the time. The FX of the facts are, for example, the fracture function family or firefox, and the fractal. France, factor, X, the clotting factor, the foreign exchange, FX, special effects, or Philippines, public transport. So at 5:55, we have JZ and FX, and of course you're going to think of the reference JZ, and FX can be abbreviation for fixing things as well. In the workshop to become the tomb. The tomb is the pineal gland, right? So the womb to the tomb is the pineal gland. Preparing ointments for old age. Now fractal. France, factor X, and special effects. Unforgettable. Now function. The Christ human to use. Fun C. Tie on. And C is the Christ consciousness, but it's also the whispering bench, and the tie on is source on, but it's also the tiger lioness combination, the piggyback totem. The digamma twin flame, holy grail, and holy communion on the whispering bench with source on, the tiger lioness or court connection, a net to get the ball over and back again, to gain momentum back and forth, to eventually create a bridge. So again, that energy of sewing something, right? If you sew back and forth enough, you create the bridge naturally, just like you make a hem or a seam in your clothing. That's literally the bridge. Pair 24, 47 and 48, with heaven in their eyes and going within. Omega, enlightenment. And remember, Omega is the Om Ega, the feminine ego. 95 was also coming up, or the East Coast. 95 is also 1, Neo, and Bird, and reduces to 14, 5, the Temperance card of the angelic commitment. The first next card was the 5 of the communal dance, the 31 of the Christ flame, the Hierophant, and the 5 of wands, the gathering of the group into the Page of Cups, the innocent void, or the rebirth, to become in the energetic exchange, that back and forth, creating the bridge naturally. The 23 of the King of Wands this year, 2023, right, the 23 pairs, going to the 24th pair in 2024, across the waters, bless you, across the waters to 26, which is that Page of Wands, and also Newton's Cradle. And again, watch my Instagram on, I think it was my Crystal Angels read with the Newton's Cradle. So very cool codes coming in with that. So the 26th Page of Wands, guardian of the soul family, the Page of Cups to the Page of Wands, 2023. She in the wall and the vortex, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, to become 3 with the guardian of the soul family. And then Eo is coming up. Newton's Cradle, in energetic exchange through 2023, the light actualizes through the cardinal initiation of energy. And again, I'm coming back to Harriet Tubman again with the cardinal initiation, right? But she was the feminine cardinal, not the masculine. The initiation of energy through 3 spheres. And here's Newton's Cradle, each holding their own vibration. Earth, Terra, Gaia, as Newton's Cradle. You have the cardinal initiator, the conductor, and then the 3 spheres, and then the reaction on the other side. An equal and opposite reflection out the other side, traveling energetically at 611, the lover's alignment, and rematerializing, showing up out of nowhere, having manifested your union. 8 hearts was then another Instagram I had posted that day, as 8 years was coming up, from 2015 to the current year, 2023, or 16 to 24, as the King of Wands to the Queen of Wands, 2023 to 2024, is the coupling, and the Knight of Wands action. And the Knight of Wands in the SIRIAN Starseed deck also represents the taming of the flame, right? It's not bright red and raging fire, it's tempered. The Knight of Wands action taken due to the cardinal fool, number 22, in that leap of faith. So the new cycle is coming up as the first ball on Newton's Cradle, as the cardinal initiator, the conductor, the fool's journey, taking that leap of faith and then reflecting through the three different dimensions of Earth, Terra, Gaia, to the Page of Wands 26, out the other end into the 27 of the Ace of Flames. So it's coming up as 26,000 as the three Earths, and then 30 at the end of union, but also the 22 to 26 cycle. So it's coming up in 4-year cycles, 22 of the Fool's Journey to and then coming out the other end at 26, and then 26 coming out the other end at 30. Now 26 adds up to 10, which ignites 27, which is 11. The 23 to 24 couple ignites the collective spark from 26 to 30 in a homecoming of sorts. At 626 then is again the Lovers Page of Wands, which is inspiration, right? Excitement, the initiator, the conductor, the pink of self-love and nurture, the 14 of boundaries, the 10 of the new dawn, and the 3 of creation of the scalloped Magdalene life bulb. And here comes the womb to tomb, right? I would get the womb as the life bulb, and then the tomb is the light bulb. So we have the womb to tomb with compassion. Oh, I forgot this too. This came up, what was I doing? I was doing some kind of meditating or expressive dance or something, but the cross was coming up not as the regular cross that you would make, but not a elongated cross, but a plus sign from ear to ear, having to do with sound, and then from the crown to the heart. So the heart to crown, ear to ear is coming up as the cross. Womb to tomb with compassion and patient boundaries, the key to the castle to the 1,000 suns, and I was getting 000, representing the 3 dimensions of Earth, and then the east, to the east. E as path to enlightenment. JC light, and remember the letters JC also represents the torus with direction, so it's on a slant. So enlightenment is literally EN, which for me is code JC. So JC light and JC intent, the torus with direction, all the way to the sun's rays, the destined new dawn, the ray of Mary Magdalene to the ray of the sun, in a new dawn, welcome back, 26, 14, 10, and 3, ZNJC, where ZN is to open, and JC is the directional field of the rays enfolding, the seeker. The seeker is being broken down as C, the KE, which is the key, and then the of that inspiration, that motivation. So the seeker is to see the key of activate. The Page of Wands goes through the sun in order to get to the mother. The Page of Wands angel or Sagittarius destined Libra to Mother Nature. 2 risk, 4 destined, 3, and risk is coming up as that number 61. 1 for all and all for one. And remember, with the 41 is the whole maker. So 1 for all, ALL, and then AWL, the whole maker, for one, which is the Ace of Cups or the Holy Grail, which references the portal and the tunneling effect, that suspended animation, with space for the Empress and all her children, from womb to tomb, to central sun and back again, to awake on the Holy Grail and communion, which is the calm union. 646 is the lovers, and again, the innocent children, the innocent inner children. The 5 of communication, to speak up and be heard. The 40 of evolution, of birthing the new, and I was getting revolution too. The 26 to 40, which is the Earth Empress and the Hierophant, and the Page of Cups. The 26 to 40 is actually the Page of Wands to the Page of Cups. But the in between there is the Earth Empress and the Hierophant, which are both Taurus energies, with the Page of Cups, the innocent, and then the 9 of the action of the Hermit, who runs with the shadow to find a message in a bottle, a shell to call. Both, and again, the shell, right, naturally calls, right? It has that sound in it already. It's like a natural whispering bench. Both at the beach where land meets sea, meets sky, meets I am. The Hierophant and the Hermit, or Taurus and Virgo, evolve to birth the new. The second coming through the chariots of fire. The 44 of the beacon shine on as her harvest brings waves of grain, or God's rain. Ray in, ocean to Shasta, powering the sea into light, amping up and shining bright, grounding and integrating how to receive love by going within to the 30, or the Om with the crown on top. The Om, the void, the retreat, rest and pause. At 725 is the Chariot and the Knight of Wands, with the number 22, the Fool's Journey again. Archangel Sandalphon, who's with you now, and the lyre or the instrument in hand, that sound's coming up again. And the 54 of the Page of Swords, which is lilac here, of higher realms and magic. The castle at Purple Moon, 0-point field, blast off with trail left for others to follow. The underlying energy of the 14 at 731, which is the Chariot and the 5 of Wands, the group. The assurance that this too shall pass. After destined swan love, open your heart. Patience with tree, the little fairy girl with the emperor or grandfather, and the 144 angel and emperor, the new angel and the old man, to pause. With the 23 of the King of Wands, that you are worth it, King of Wands, your vision of how it should be, your vision of her with flowers in her hair by candlelight, with her crazy rainbow hair by the seashore, where crowds and gulls flock all along the East Coast to see the rainbow lights, a vision of a ship coming in, all from their favorite spot on the beach, flowers blossoming, her eyes on you. So we have the race came up too, and that was Jesse Owens. The Olympics from 33 to 36 was the actual Olympics in Germany, right, where the Jews and the blacks weren't supposed to be coming, but they, the U.S. people were able to get that to happen, but it still didn't fully happen, but you can watch that if you want. The 28 of the Bountiful Harvest, the relay race, passing the baton, the beach being the starting line, blanketing the fields around the earth with rainbows, flowers, butterflies, and doves. Hope and happiness within, to the 28 of the Choice of Path, or the twin flame, Bountiful Harvest, passing the torch to Esther Williams, in sink or swim, with their thinking cap on, with Atlas's map of intent, steering those little chariots of fire and signaling those little boys on their Pegasus avatars with heaven in their eyes and laughing all the way, ha, 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 like Santa Claus again, stomping on the clouds, creating thunder rolls. As mountainous she receives the waves, he rolls out the projector to tell their story. Her mountain or mountain, which is the people's remembrance, the us or U.S. remembrance of the crown of Pegasus, or pegged as us. And again, peg also comes up as the polyethylene glycol that they use in the treatment. You got to get your head right to stay in the race, with intuition and laughter, as the last two run in together on gossamer wings. And again, there's that reference to the 24th pair. Becoming winged unicorns of land, meeting young dolphins at the sea. A tie-on with the sky to meet I am, in crystal spirals and flying fish, on this planet celebrating differences. Avatars 1 and 2, land and sea, illuminating the butterflies on the dark side of the moon, 2. 328 is coming up as the 3 of the horizontal, like the eagle flying across the mountains, to the 28. And the next card is the 1 of Ascension, 2 of Los Angeles, and 3 of Osiris coming up here. 4, and so I looked up 328, so that's what's coming up from Gematria. Ascension, Los Angeles, Osiris. Number 4 was Prime Time, 5 was Short, 6 was Maurice, and 7 Hopeless, 8 the Golden Goose, or Golden Goose, 9 Celebrities, 10 Trillion, 11 Dark Horse, 12 Nicoletta, and 13 Time to Heal. 3 to 8 in a breakthrough at the sea, where butterflies are free to fly, fly away, bye-bye, with an open heart and leap of faith, those crazy 8s, unicorn to dolphin to butterfly, the last leg of the triathlon, 3 athletes on, where unicorn meets dolphin and gets their wings, becoming human. You see, Pinocchio meets a frosty babe, freeing him to stop lying or lyring, right, with his instrument. It frees Pinocchio to stop lying, no longer winning by a nose, but by the music in him, the Sandman and frosty waves, his girl and her curls as freedom rings, ding, 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 from sea to shining sea, eastern seaboard to Los Angeles, or the angels, the Ia path to the angels. I also posted 96 pairs of hearts on my Instagram, so you might want to check that out, because two of them were drawings, which there's definitely codes coming through on those, so check them out. So with hope and happiness, the bountiful harvest, initiation, laughter, celebration, and illumination, a breakthrough around the world in AD days. The underlying energy of the 58 at 8:53, which is the strength and the dance, and the 53 of the Knight of Swords, the messenger of truth. The 58 of the vanishing mirror of ego sublimation, the 5D connect and shattering illusions of the monkeys and the crystal ball, the transition in ego death, the dream thief, refusal of the call, and being distracted in the winter's dream, the gestation period of going to sleep or knocked out, tested, suffering in silence, stressed out, unable to sleep, the challenge to come out the other end. So how do you wake up if you've never gone to sleep? The 11 of the deep quiet of truth and balance, of meditation and stillness and aligning with dark night, accepting the purple moon, for out of the quiet and stillness, with atlas map of intent, justice of all the hard work, lost in space in the end, needing direction and help with the path. So then 16, 46, and 26 came up with the empty well, the sudden need to replenish, the root girl, which is the disowned self, and that inner little girl that never sprouted, she was stunted, or never got to start, right? She never made it off the starting block. She was told she was worthless, a silly little woman, the ugly duckling, stupid, over-emotional, supposed to make babies, but can't conceive. She can't feed, or she's a space cadet, the one with the map of intent, a need to fill with epiphany, to empty self to see the root cause of pause, the innocent child never schooled, poor girl, roots starved, death camps, abused by mother, father, sister, brother, husband, boss, world at large, even had to fight for the right to vote, be counted, just to have our votes uncounted. At 9:14, the Hermit and the Higher Love, the 26 of the Page of Wands, and the gathering around, in the power of community, of magic glowing mushrooms, toads, and stools, and the 50 of the Spirit of the River, and fulfillment of the current and flow, the 57 of the Three of Swords, and the unmarked trail, with the pressure on and twisting over a long period of time, not knowing what will come, revelation, the big reveal, through nature's maze, truth unravels, as the 60 of the Six of Swords and peace of the watchers in the stands, right? Those who are watching over us. The tiger lioness totem Tyon in the desert to balance out the posh green in the home of peace. And literally the torch runner starts, right? The Olympics, at 9:24, which is the Hermit and that 24th pair of chromosomes, but it's also Omega and that feminine ego. So this is, again, the beginning of the Olympics as the torch bearer picks up the torch and starts to go. And so we have two sets of watchers here in this deck. One is the desert totem, right, the tiger lioness, and that's very desert. And the other one is that cushy couple, right, the two all cuddled up in the soft mushroom, and he's got a crown on, and they're just cuddling like they're watching TV in a nice living room with a really cushy couch, right? So very different energies, but both of them just from different perspectives, keeping an eye on us. So that is the first read. So really profound messages coming through on that one. And then we have the second message of the day here, which starts out with Journey of Love. And then again, Metatron, Nature's Whispers, and the fourth deck here is the Energy deck. Okay, so same setup. It's at 40-10 now. And let's see here. Where are we? All right. So with this one, it was done between 8:05 and 8:36, which is the 8, again, of the dance, the manifestation, strength, the dreams, the dance between the masculine and the feminine. And started out at 8:05 for the Journey of Love, but then I finished at 8:34, 35, and 36, which is the 8 of Wands, 9 of Wands, and 10 of Wands. So that Wounded Warrior and Atlas energy, along with that 34 of the Arrows of Love. The cards at the end came out 2-1-1-1 and then 2-2-2-1. And I looked up 2-1-1-1 in Gematria, and it was Lysus, or Lysu, Christos, Theo, Eos, Sater. The second entry was God, JC, died for my sins, JM. Third was Fake World News. Number 4 was She is the female creator of everything. 6 was March 24th. And then 2221, the first entry was a wit, his eyes closed, told he can't see a. So it didn't really make sense, but it might mean something to someone. The second entry is Waken Words of God. 3 was the one who is lying. And should be afraid. World Justice, Fool's World, and 2 co-create guidance of 1. She creates he, she received unto thee. Or she creates he, and she is then received unto he. At 9:05, which is the Hermit and the Hierophant, which is also Virgo and Taurus, the underlying energy was the 17 of her grace, 51 of the card white, 46 of gratitude and appreciation, and then 15 of appreciation in the next deck. So a lot of appreciation, gratitude there. A dream come true, a star, her grace. And Grace Kelly always comes up with this card. It's very much that kind of energy. The King of Swords with purity and innocence. And the 6 of Cups unicorn and fairy girl with gratitude and appreciation, shadowing even more appreciation. With the 53 Knight of Swords, legacy of light, the Christed legacy of light, the 41 of the Ace of Cups, knowing without knowing, and the 47 of soft and the 7 of Cups, the 17 of her grace, the star, and the Knight of Swords, messenger of God, Mary Magdalene, Holy Grail, and the initiator, the conductor on the railroad, which I didn't realize that came up again, knowing without knowing, speaks to God by softening to synchronicities, healing, and dreams. Literally the Lady of the Lake with the weight of the world. So Harriet Tubman came, she just walked out of the lake, right? She made it all the way home, like 100 miles. Lady of the Lake, weight of the world, and the lightness of her grace, God's race, Ray Seal. The 37 of fire and ice, the 14 of falling, the 69 of contemplation. That was something else that was coming up in my visual, was contemplation. The King of Cups neutral, sees the light, falls light as a feather to a higher love in the 698 pod, the seal of new life, the fall into deep thought or contemplation. The 58 of beauty, the 32 of devotion to the small, the 4 of swords, sleeping beauty on the journey of devotion to the small. And then the underlying energy of 13 in air, 4 in letting go, 14 of boundaries, and the number 10 of new dawn, 35 of the kundalini, and 51 of white and purity. Transition and freedom in the emperor letting go in the fall, with patience, with boundaries, and destined to new dawn. The trail to the sun, welcome back, the wounded warrior with untapped energy, as the kundalini is rising to the King of Swords is purity and innocence. The 23 of the King of Wands, duality, where balance is needed, and the 8 of leadership in answering the call with flame of liberty in hand. the 20 of the cosmos and the wake-up call that mirrors you, and the 49 of the family and circles of life of satisfaction, the 36 of the inner child, to hear and know me, the 50 of the potential gateway at 10:06, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Lovers, the 9 of the Hermit and the perfect setting, the 15 to catch your breath, and 6, the big picture of 46, again, of gratitude and appreciation, the 10 of Cups of the emotional fulfillment of that happy family, the magic tree, the Hermit's perfect setting to catch your breath, to detox and see the big picture, the Lovers heal, root to blossom the crown, the watering of the family to grow the grandchildren, the 6 of Cups with gratitude and appreciation. And one of the quote at the end, when Harriet Tubman died, it was March 10th, 1913. She was about 91 years old. She was surrounded by her loved ones, and the end says her last words were, "I go to prepare a place for you." Mother and child heals mother and child. Starseed and unconditional as the rainbow comes full circle. The 29 of contemplation, a gift. The butterfly and lions present, or Lyrans and Syrians. The child and pet, the gifts of the soul. The 34, the arrows of love that carry her down the Borealis River from 9 candles to a pink moon, on a dry leaf of yesteryear. Vulnerable to all that is, the little butterfly girl grows up to be the one, the 23 of the King of Wands, can only see. His vision of her, with flowers in her hair, by 7 candles light, and a flowering horizon, their ship coming in, with a boat for 2, at your nook at the beach, as you are worth it. The 42 of the 2 of Cups, and let love be your beacon, and blush with your peacock in the forest, cuddle up, mermaid, mandala, maid. So instead of mermaid, it's coming up as M-A-D-E. Mandala maid, maid of the sea, the conch shell bridge, the whispering bench that takes you there, from mountain to mountain and memory to memory, in union with Pegasus, pegged as us, the mermaid and the seahorse, maid of the sea, and Mr. Ed, on an adventure to get home. At 10:22, which is the wheel and the fool, the underlying energy of the 21, which is today's energy and strategy, with the journal and the feather, the pen and the compass, the record of your journey to lightness of direction that comes to pass, the compass, the compassion, the compass connection, the easy pass of ease and God's race. And then Mach 1 was coming up with Speed Racer, and Racer X marks the spot. 1 with the vehicle and 1 with directions. Hercules, which is her harvest, and Atlas, my love has come along. The 33 of the door to romance, and 15 appreciation for when you get home. A world of Christ consciousness with the skeleton key, and gratitude for the flowers and the little things, opening the doors to the cage of the heart, that the key was there all along. You just needed a simple thank you. Standing up to take a bow. The show is over, say goodbye. The bow and arrow, the bridge, the vehicle and directions, the time and space to source me. Time out for I, me, but at Sophia's pace. The vertical and the horizontal. The verti and the hori, which comes up as, because there's lots of definitions for verti and hori, and then vert and hor, which vert is green, and vertebrae, the vertex, a host, a landlord, and HOR is her hair, so her hair is coming up again, and a need for acknowledgement, our, hor, snot or mucus, famine, meat, grayish or grayish-white hair, advanced age or elder, and the choir or in front of, and loved is the whore. So hoary is to dance in the hole, to catch, have, and hold, a kind of canoe, the whispering kind. Right? So to dance in the hole, in the mud, to be the choir and be loved, where the verti is the green preaching to the choir, the host of the vertex, the vertebrae, to turn, exchange, engage, and translate, to turn inside out, upside down, over and through, concern, to notify, turn on, grow, and become, open, leak, spill, pour, well, shed, and flow over, to evolve to your beloved. One is to be loved, and one to their beloved. The one to be loved is space, and the one to their beloved is time, of Source me and Sophia's pace. The one of 52, the Queen of Swords, and the Goddess of the Moon. The 19 of rest and rejuvenation. 13 of financial constraints. The Lady of the Lake, of liberty, who reflects upon thee, who holds up the purple moon for all to see, romancing the stone, the path of one, the sun and rest, reflecting regarding the path, and, which is DNA, A-N-D, DNA, and Dan, D-A-N, the sun reflects a young new nation, rejuvenation. The sun reflects a young new nation, the Nat connection, unforgettable. I am on, transitioning through challenging times, perhaps too much emptied space, ending up at 37, the third chakra, Archangel Shamuel, of 2 rockets, AA, and the CH of horsepower, a mule, and the King of Cups of unconditional love, a powerhouse, refusing to give up and yet surrendered. The third note strikes a chord and shocks Ra, the sun's ray to the chakra system. He is AM, but she is M,